Hello everyone, I'm Carla from Art with Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I release a very special video because we celebrate together my first year anniversary. That's right, I've been publishing videos in YouTube for a year and I'm really grateful for the support that you've given me. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. I'm really grateful for your visit, your likes, your shares, and especially for your comments. They really make my heart beat faster. So thank you very much. If this is your first time visiting, thank you so much for dropping by. As you heard, my name is Carla and my channel's name is Art with Katie. As you might assume, it means that I'll teach you here a lot of things about drawing, art, doodle stationery, organization, and of course, bullet journaling. Let me show you how you can excel at organization, improve your life, put your mind at ease, and have the best creative outlet that you can have. When a new month begins, I share with you my plan of the month. Every month there's a different theme that comes with a new challenge and a new learning opportunity. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you can get notifications whenever I put up a video. So hit that bell. The minute I envision this as my new theme, I just skip all the plans that I had and went ahead and just, it's here. That's why this theme is in February instead of any other month. I just didn't think about it and went with it. February is a very special month. It's the month of friendship, it's the month of romance, it's the month of love, it's the month of my 1-year anniversary and future anniversaries. And mind you, it's even my wedding anniversary. So probably February is special for me, right? But never mind, that's another story. But yes, my anniversary is in February as well. But now February will be the month of Salvador Dali. The man, the master, the marvel. That's what his legend says when you visit his website museum. Salvador Dali is one of the most celebrated artists of all time. His great technique, along with his unusual art, induced the world to the wonders of imaginative expression. In all aspects of his life, he took risk after risk, making sure that the world knew how rich it can be when you embrace your creativity. So thank you, Dali. Today we get to plan and organize a new month, but we also get to share about the life and works of Salvador Dali. Just keep in mind that I'm not making copies or reproductions of his work. That will take me years and years and years of a lot of work. And definitely I cannot do that in a notebook and with markers. So this is just my way of honoring his art in using him as inspiration for my bullet journal. So thank you for your kindness. He is a surreal artist that I really admire. I'm always impressed by his creativity, his boldness, all of his statements, and to be honest, he might have been a little bit crazy, but I love his crazy. Do you like surreal art? Who's your favorite artist? And what's your favorite movement? I'd like to know, so please let me know in the comments. There's so much I can share with you, but I'd rather do something that you're interested in. So please leave a comment and let me know. With that said, let's start planning. So go get your notebook, your markers or supplies. And if you're just here to hang out, that's completely amazing. Just make sure you have a snack, something to drink, and I'll see you at the end of the video. So stay with me. See you soon. Like I mentioned before, Salvador Dali is an artist that I really admire. So of course I went through a phase when I visited his museums and had some sort of his art in my walls. And when I found this perfume, I purchased it regardless of how it smelled. Thankfully, it smelled nice and I still keep its beautiful bottle. Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dalí y Domenech, first Marquess of Dalí de Pujol, was a Spanish surrealist artist. He received his formal education in fine arts in Madrid, influenced by Impressionism and the Renaissance masters from a young age. He became increasingly attracted to Cubism and avant-garde movements. He moved closer to Surrealism in the late 1920s and joined the Surrealist group in 1929, soon becoming one of its leading exponents. His best-known work, The Persistence of Memory, is one of the most famous Surrealist paintings. I have to tell you that this melting art always caught up my attention, but honestly isn't one of my favorite pieces, which is why I was undecided if it should be the main feature of my February calendar. I ended up deciding that it should be the cover since it's probably his most known piece and an iconic image to Surrealism. Believe it or not, there's a lot behind the melting watches that appear in The Persistence of Memory. It suggests Einstein's theory that time is relative and non-fixed. Although Dalí later claimed that the idea of clocks functioning symbolically in this way came to him when he was contemplating Camembert cheese. Dalí lived in France throughout the Spanish Civil War, before leaving for the United States in 1940, where he achieved commercial success. Many people came to America after the Civil War and World War II, my family included. Some stayed in the new continent and carried on with their life and heritage, and some others eventually returned to Europe. Dalí returned to Spain in 1948, where he announced his return to the Catholic faith and developed his nuclear mysticism style. Based on his interest in classicism, mysticism, and recent scientific developments, Dalí's work went beyond paintings. He did some graphic arts, film, sculpture, design, and photography, sometimes in collaboration with other artists. He was also a writer and concentrated in fiction, poetry, autobiography, essays, and criticism. Even if he was all over the place as an artist and honestly as a human being, there was some consistency in his art. His themes often included dreams, the subconscious, sexuality, religion, science, and his closest personal relationships. His eccentricity and ostentatious behavior was also part of the show. To the dismay and irritation of critics, there's a lot of controversy due to his political statements, commercial activities, and the authenticity of his late works. But regardless of all of these, his life and work were an important influence on other surrealists, pop art, and contemporary artists such as Jeff Koons and Damien Hirst. Are you an admirer of Dalí? Have you seen his art before? Please let me know in the comments. For the Thankfulness and Memories layout, I wanted to do something simple but with a lot of meaning. And if you pay attention to his art, you'll see that there's a lot of animals on display. It goes from horses and donkeys to rhinos and elephants, and snails, and many others. I chose to draw an elephant in the Thankfulness layout because I love them. They're such cute animals and tender creatures, and so very intelligent. I used the Temptation of St. Anthony as my inspiration to this layout. By its title alone, anyone is clued to the painting's meaning and iconography. St. Anthony is there on his knees and weak, fighting his temptations, using the cross to protect himself. The horse represents strength, while the elephant carries different elements in their back. The first one has the golden cup and a woman that represents lust. The rest of the elephants carry buildings, one an obelisk, and the second and third are burdened with Venetian architecture in the style of Palladio. And in the clouds, one can glimpse a few fragments of the escorial, a symbol of temporal and spiritual order. Now for the next layout, for my monthly memories, I'm using a giraffe. I don't think I've seen one drawn by Dalí, but I can say that for sure. But I wanted to have this pretty animal here since it brings a memory from some years back. And now that I Google him, I saw that he actually has drawn a giraffe and has a painting named after it. It's called the Burning Giraffe. This is when I noticed that my markers have deeply ghosted to the other side of the page. When using markers in your bullet journal, there's usually a bit of ghosting. Sometimes it even happens with certain pens. It depends on the thickness of the page and the ink that you're using. I often use Crayola, and I have to say that the paper usually handles them pretty well. The other markers that I used this month were Prismacolor Premier. And again, I usually don't have these results, so the damage to the page can be for many different reasons, like the combination of the two different markers, and even them in combination with the jelly pen. I use a white Uni-Ball Signo this time. Although if you pay attention, in some parts that there's a heavy transfer, I didn't use any gel. So it might just have been my hand that I abused the media and oversaturated the paper. The beauty of bullet journaling is that it's yours, and any creations we do is for our own satisfaction, and our goal is to have an artistic outlet as we get organized for the month. The best hack to have in mind is the use of colored paper. Not only does it help to add an extra accent, but it gives you an additional layer. You can decorate it on top of your notebook as I did, or even on the side and then glue it on top. The next layouts are the habit tracker and the challenge of the month. Maybe you'll be able to see what I tried to do with it. This is a combination of different artworks made by Dalí. You see, he had a lifelong interest in science and mathematics that was often reflected in his work. Think of the melting clock watches and Einstein's theory of relativity and time and space. There's also images of atomic particles in his work soon after the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and even strands of DNA. My main inspiration was that of a lithography that I used to have, which is the hallucinogenic toreador, which you'll also get to see in another layout. There's a series of artwork that have spheres of this kind, like Leda Atomica, but drawing all those circles was going to be really complicated. I wanted squares, which are simpler to draw and I can easily give dimension to. So it looked more like the disintegration of the persistence of memory, which is his redo or version 2.0 of the persistence of memory. There we can all see the fragmentation and disintegration that has been interpreted as a reference to Heisenberg's quantum mechanics. Dalí loved to explain his art in a way so unique that it only leaves us with more questions or even questioning his sanity. Now for the challenge layout, I try my best to reproduce the anthropomorphic cabinet. How do you think I did? Please leave a comment with your thoughts. Dalí loved long titles and interesting words. Anyway, apparently he modified a plaster cast of the Venus de Milo, one of the most famous ancient sculptures in the Louvre, by introducing a series of drawers with the knobs covered in fur, and his sculpture Venus de Milo with drawers, likely with the help of Marcel Duchamp. Why would he do something like that? Apparently because of the influence he had from Sigmund Freud, who he deeply admired. Once Dalí said, "The only difference between immortal Greece and contemporary times is Sigmund Freud, who discovered that the human body, purely Platonic in the Greek epoch, is nowadays full of secret drawers that only psychoanalysis is capable to open." In the anthropomorphic cabinet, Dalí transformed the drawers into a female figure. Oh no, excuse me, an anthropomorphic cabinet. The figure seems to be alive, with the head leaning forward over the partially open drawers. The hair is also to the front, entirely hiding the face. There's a lot of artists that do their self-portraits. I think most of us know Van Gogh because of his. Salvador Dali wasn't the exception. He started to paint self-portraits very early on, but they changed a lot throughout the years. As a teenager, Dalí represented himself with a distant attitude towards his companions, but at the same time wishing to make an impact on them, to provoke them, if you will, and on the public in general. With his appearance, he owned his personality. That's why he wore those clothes, that's why his eyebrows were that crazy, and that's why he had that very iconic mustache. That's why when I think of Dalí, his brows and mustache come to me immediately as a clear image, which is why I wanted to have him in my notebook as I see him. I used one of his pictures to make his portrait. By the way, I have a lot of lettering quotes of the month. I especially like the lettering I did for my marker unboxing. It says, "If you're tired, learn to rest, not to quit." You can check out that video in the following link. You know how important it is to me to have a space to place my favorite pictures of the month. Remember that in the memory layout, I only write words and phrases that were significant for the month. But here I put photos and images. Since I didn't want to go through the whole marker transpassing and ghosting situation that I had before, I used some color paper again. This time to make a drawing that resembles my perfume bottle. Dalí Style by Salvador Dalí is a citrus aromatic fragrance for women. It was launched in 2002, long after he died. The nose behind this fragrance is Evelyn Bollinger, and I'm so happy that it smells nice and I just didn't buy something that I wasn't gonna use. Most of the images that Dalí created are as striking as they are bizarre. But one that is beautiful and mysterious is the woman with the head of roses, which appeared in several of his work. She was created in a time that Dalí was in his most creative stage, when he developed his own personal style of surrealism and created the persistence of memory, when he also entered André Breton's surrealist group, and when he first met his adored muse and wife, Gala. The woman with the head of roses is so beautiful that I want her near my favorite pictures of the month. What do you do with your pictures? Do you save them all in the cloud? Do you make digital albums? Do you print them and have actual photo albums? Maybe even have scrapbooks? Scrapbooking is something that I honestly love, but I've never done it. So let me know in the comments how you preserve your photographic memories. Last but not least, I have the first weekly spread of the month based on the hallucinogenic Toreador. It has a couple of Venus that I drew trying to bring the idea of the painting to my notebook, and some color on the rest of the layout, but of course I didn't do it justice. In this artwork, you can see a bullfighting ring that has red and yellow tones, reminding the viewer of the Spanish flag. Gala, Dalí's wife, is in the upper left section because the piece was dedicated to her. There you can also see the pattern of multicolored circles that I use as inspiration for my tracker. There's an anecdote behind Dalí's desire to represent the Venus of Milos that you can see 28 times in this painting. He used negative space to produce an image, alternate and contemplating to the Venus of Milo. It's almost hypnotic how he arranged them. In the second Venus, you can see the face of the toreador or bullfighter. His nose is in her torso and her face is his eye. Her skirt makes up his shirt and scarf. His other eye is in the face of the second Venus, and the wide area unveils a tear slipping from his eye. Can you see it? If you do, please comment. I tried to reproduce it as best as I could, but his work is honestly really complex and not only beautiful. Alright everyone, so this is it for the month of Surreal February with Dali. I hope you really like it. Did you like it? I'm honestly really proud of what I did, so thank you for joining me. Today we did something great, so thanks for sharing it with me. Mind you, I did have some issues with the materials. As you can see, my notebook doesn't have the thickest pages. I'm using the Leuchtturm 1917, which is a wonderful notebook and very resistant, but probably I oversaturated the pages. Well, not probably, I did. And I mixed some markers. They're water-based, the Crayola and Prismacolor, but if you saw when I put a little bit of both together or when I put in the mix like a gel pen, that's when I noticed that it like ghosted the most. But as you can see, it's not that hard to fix. There's ways to work around it. And of course, if you know that you're gonna use like a heavier medium, like watercolors that need a lot of water or acrylics, well, there's also other notebooks whose pages are a little bit thicker, so they're gonna work better for you. I have a video somewhere that I explain about a few notebooks that I have and what they support and what they don't support, especially affordable notebooks. So you can check that out and feel free to explore. As always, it depends how you're gonna use your notebook and the materials. So have that in mind so you don't have what I had today with you. If you haven't already, don't forget to click that bell and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll get notified every time I put up a video, and you can be the first to see it, to like it, to share it, and to comment. Please don't forget to comment. I love to read you and reply to you, and it means the world to me. My goal is to soon reach 1,000 subscribers. It's probably so little compared to other YouTubers, but that's the aim right now. So thank you so much for that support. It really helps me out if you like and share my videos. You don't know how much your support means to you, so thank you again. I'm really grateful. So let's do a last flip through of my Surreal February bullet journal plan. I did so much research for this plan and I didn't know where to start. I was so distracted by the beautiful pieces that he made. It was so difficult to choose what I wanted to display in my bullet journal. I tried selecting the pieces that I consider representative of Salvador Dali and also something that I love. It's wonderful how it all tells a story. It has energy and a little bit of crazy, of course, because well, if it didn't have a bit of crazy, it wasn't Salvador Dali. But when I see it, it brings me the impressive sensations that seeing his pieces in real life for the first time made me feel, which honestly were true and complete. Like, oh, I was so amazed by what I had in front of me. It's really wonderful. I have no words for it. And even if mine are not perfect replicas, I really love the outfit, and I hope you do too. Alright everyone, so this is it, my Plan With Me video of the month of Surreal February. If you want to check out the first video that I ever published in YouTube, I'm gonna leave the link around here because it's honestly really pretty. I did this Art Nouveau and Sailor Moon, which is like the perfect combination for any month of your bullet journal, so make sure to check it out. And also you're gonna see how much I've been growing since I started publishing my videos. I've been doing bullet journaling for quite some time, I think like around 5 years or so, but I've only been publishing videos for a year. So thank you again for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with me your thoughts about what I do. And well, I'm so glad that you're here. So have a wonderful month. You know, as I always tell you, keep creative, keep safe, and always, always be kind. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Please like and share my video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you next time.